Are we live? We should be live. I hope we're live. We apparently are live. Hello, good evening everybody. Welcome along to Halfway in Holland. Round 6 of the 12 race FSC Championship here at Zandvoort. Let me put the track map and the lap data on your screens as well. We're looking on with Plumby, who is at the moment the first car in the Mercedes, I believe, to come across the line and start a lap. Go on board, actually, into Tarzan Corner, turn 1. Glad to have you all along with us. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever other social platform you happen to find this race on, into turn 3, one of 2 banked corners. Goes a little bit deep there, slightly erratic movements there, but that does seem to be just controller actions being done by a person on a controller. I do the same thing. 25, mid-25 there through the first sector, taking not quite the optimal line into that right-hander at turn 8. 9, nicely done, not taking too much of the track, and then into the left at 10. Yellow's in that second sector, just to be traffic, I think, probably for not Kiri, maybe. Was Plumby 50.3, I think that was, through the second sector into turn 13, and then it's flat from here. DRS on this section as well, battery drained. We'll see what time Plumby, what the benchmark is as Plumby comes up to the line. It's 11.8 for a benchmark, but there's still plenty of time to go. Looking on with James Petty, who's setting a time on the intermediate. Just a sort of benchmark, get used to the setup kind of thing. It's not something we've not seen before. A couple more times been put in. Thunder Speed a third, Stelio second. We're looking on with Twisted Goat in the other Mercedes, just as HBE goes fourth, but that's his first lap. He usually does do much better on his second push lap. Twisted Goat through the final corner, banking here at Zandvoort, of course. One of few circuits in Europe with the banking, and Twisted Goat does go fastest, first sub 111 lap, 110 and 997 granted, but still sub 111, good stuff. Mute Mirror on a lap. Darren for the Athletics has retired early from his session, so he's going to be starting right at the back of the field. Let's look on with Sambo's. He's starting his lap. Mike Wallace is currently 7th for the IP crew. Sambo goes into turn 1. Nicely done there. St. Plays coming up towards the third corner. Coming back to the apex using the banking nicely, and then it's through this slalom section. Mind the other car there that's just waiting for traffic. And Thunder Speeder goes even faster. So a lot of these guys are putting in faster second laps. Maybe it's just preferred on these F1 World cars. HBE goes fastest, 1:09.494. It's a story we've seen many times before. So it's currently Apex, Audi, Mercedes 1, 2, and 3. We'll go to Sambo coming through turn 9. No, that's 10 even. And it's down the hill into the tricky right-hander braking zone. Sort of an opportunity for a overtake, but you really need to be alongside or ahead. You can't be behind going into there unless you've got balls of steel on the brake. Sambo up to the line as Mike. Oh, I thought that was Mike. That was some plays there. Here comes Sambo, goes into 11th place. Mike Wallace is coming into the pit. So the first round of laps has been completed. Mute Mirror coming through deep into this second sector so far. Being nicely handled into turn 9. Not taking too much of the track. Coming back to the 10th corner, left-hander, long left-hander onto this short back straight into the tight chicane at 11 and 12. So far, 12 drivers have set a time, but so far, out of those drivers that have set a time, it's all very much an Apex Racing sandwich. HBE in first, James Petty in 12th, but we do expect James Petty to be doing much better should his times come up. Mute Mirror 12th place, 13.7, so half a second off the IP crew, which is sort of where he's been. Just generally, he's sort of been slightly below the paddock crew, which again is unfortunate to see. He's very much a stalwart of this series. So with Face on intermediates in the Athletic, handling that car very, very nicely. I'm just looking through, seeing if there's anybody who should be here who isn't, or who's made a mistake in their selections or whatnot. Lotus should have Milan, who is on a lap now as well, but also ST Not Cry. I think that's how that's right in terms of pronunciation. So worth mentioning, Darren is back, so maybe it was just a mistake. Milan set lifts from his lap. Was he possibly impeded by another car there, I wonder? Kokumalakis, owner of HSRT, of course, running the Wednesday Advanced League, was into the final couple of corners, final braking zone on this circuit, and then it is down the front stretch up to the start-finish line. It's a bit of a long run through to the line as he goes into 10th place. Good stuff there for the Greek man, M. Doliantis, in the Audi, one in third, this man in 9th, so slightly below his teammate. Currently 5th row, overtaking not particularly easy, but then again, we can say that about most circuits, and yet their drivers are still going to find a way to get past somehow, somewhere, especially in a game like this. Plumby, has he lifted? I thought he had lifted for a second. He looks to have. He hasn't got the battery. In fact, he's gone heavily off track, and he's 6 seconds down in that first sector. So that's not really how you take that first sector. Twisted Goat 4th place for the Mercedes, one of 4 people under the 1:11 barrier, as Milan does go for a 26.759, so considerably below, but then again, we are going to be seeing more times coming in from the Lotus man. Has been quite high so far in the races that he has finished, usually the bridesmaid, unfortunately, but will still be vying for that victory. Twisted to go up to the line, goes from 4th to 3rd, improves his time by just over a 10th, as James Petty does improve his time by a lot, goes into 3rd place, but then again, the question is, he's 1.4 seconds off his teammate. That's not ideal in Milan. Just as we were saying, he's just shy of a 10th off of the Apex ahead of him, and the Paganis are in the middle as well, so the Paganis are doing quite well in terms of development as well, doing very, very nicely indeed. St. Plays having troubles through turn 10, was up in the first sector, but now has lifted. Let's see what's happening a little further along. Twisted Goat, is he on a second lap? We'll see what happens. We'll stay on board. He's low on battery, but he is going at a pretty nice rate. He's down through 2 sectors though, so he's going to stay where he is. Thunder Speeder starting a lap. 7th place at the moment for this man, 10.9. So we've got 7 cars under the 1:11 barrier. How many can we get under 1:09? I wonder. We've got about, I think it's about 8 minutes of qualifying left. I can't see through the yellow flags, which are at turn 13 in that 3rd sector. 8 minutes, 7:20. I was pretty close. I'm very happy with that. Kokumalakis going for another lap for the Pagani. Special livery for these guys. Rumours saying something could be happening in the next few weeks. Keep an eye out for that. If you are very much a Garuda fan, something could be happening from what I'm hearing. I'm not fully sure what, but could be quite interesting regardless. Thunder Speeder coming through the final sector, 3.5 tenths down on his previous best, not using the full track. Here he comes across to the line. Does he pit? Yes, he does. That lap not quite good enough for an improvement. FG Profile on a lap as Luigi Sven does go into 7th place, so still using the incorrect logo there for the league owner, but still 7th. Good stuff for Luigi. Up to the turn 13 comes Profile with 6 minutes and a couple of seconds to spare in qualifying. Nicely handled by the Porsche. The other Porsche mired at the bottom of the field. Profile goes to 10th place, pipping Emdoliantis to that 5th row on the grid. Plumby, who started the initial pace, is on an outlap for his latest attempt around this very short, very speedy circuit. Remember, we have got a half-distance race coming your way, which I think is about 36 laps. And if previous races in FSC and just at Zandvoort in general or anything to go by, this could be a very good race. Make sure not to go anywhere. If you've got any questions or anything, please do drop it in chat. I have got chat open, so if anybody has any questions or anything like that, do let us know. Plumby through that first sector, almost a quarter of a second down on that first sector. Profile, is he going for another lap? We'll see through the middle sector. I don't think he is, though. He looks to be pretty heftily down. He's 4 seconds down. That's not a lap. That's going to be challenging for pole. Mute Mirror. Well, I was just about to say good stuff for Mute Mirror, but then he's crashed it going into turn 3. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stay 14th or if he's going to have to go to the very back of the field, but that was one hell of a crash. Unfortunate there for the Porsche. Here comes Mike Wallace and Sambo very close to each other, both running on mediums. I think Sambo's completed both of his laps on mediums. Could he be trying to just conserve the softs? Maybe the softs are a better tyre strategy for these guys. They do usually run at the back. I love them to bits, but they usually do. Sambo improves his time by a pretty hefty margin, but only 1 position gained for the new slingshot branded cars. A little bit of sponsorship for the IP crew. James Petty, 5th place, recently won a race, but just the one. His teammate has won all the others. Looking so far, don't want to say anything, but looking so far to be clinching the championship with quite a few races to spare, just like last season. So HBE dominance is pretty clear in this little FSC era of ours. James Petty still down through the 2nd sector. This doesn't look to be a very good lap time for the Apex man as he comes out of turn 13 through the banked final corner and comes into the pit lane. St. Players 3rd place at the moment. Pagani's doing quite well, 3rd and 4th, so whatever development they had, it has worked clearly. Both on the 2nd row. You really don't want to be mired in the midfield around here, especially with that 3rd corner. You can very easily go 2-3 wide. A mistake and you are sort of sorted, especially at the start of the race on safety car restarts. It's going to be interesting to see HBE come out for another attempt at an improvement. There's cautions in the first sector for exactly that man. There's more drivers coming out for outlaps. 2 minutes 30 on the clock. This is short qualifying, so HB has got provisional pole position, but can Millen stop him? Is Millen going to be able to stop him? Yes, he does. He's coming out of the pit lane now. Careful for the Audi and the Garuda of Korkamilakis and Emdoliantis. They've both just started a lap. There's a couple more behind him, but he's going to be wanting to warm the tyres pretty sharpish. HB usually does a 2nd installation lap as well, so we're probably not going to be seeing the best of his tyres until a little bit later in qualifying. Sort of the very last lap is where he does very well. St. Plays coming through the first sector. How is he doing through there? He's 3/10 down. He could go again. He's got the time if he wants to. Whether he uses that is a different story. HB has now started his time So we'll see what happens through turn 1, 2. He's not using his battery. He's lifted off, so he's going for a second installation lap. Not the first time. It's something we see quite often from the championship leader. Let's jump to Twisted Goat. Currently in 6th place for the Mercedes. Fastest first sector as well. So a good time looking for the Blackshot car. Quite a few cars heavily in terms of the black colour. Right of the curbs on the inside of turn 10. Not quite an ideal strategy, but then through this back straight down towards turn 11 and 12. Quarter of a second up, so that could put him on that second row. There's quite a nice battle here from 3rd to 9th that's developed for those positions. But here comes Twisted Goat around the final corner. Where's he going to show himself in this qualifying session? 1:10.4, so does get onto that second row, but is still a second off of the pole position itself. Millen starting a lap now will stay on board with the Lotus car, covered in green as per usual. Do love the green car, I'll be honest, green is my favourite colour. 2/10 up through that first sector, so already looking like a very, very good lap time for the Lotus. But then again, we've got to be careful for HBE, who has now started a lap time as well. We'll check back on with the championship leader a little bit later. Checkered flag has come out, so that is it. Mike Wallace has gone to 14th, Sandbox in 16th place. That's for the IP crews. The Paganis are in now 3rd and 6th. Some place crosses the line, so we face immediately goes even better. More cars coming across the line. That's Luigi's Fed going to 7th, and then another car, that's Profile, going to 8th. Millen, can he pip HBE to the pole position? So far he can, but through this final sector, what can HBE do to reclaim pole position? He had the majority of the pole so far. Will he add another to his trophy cabinet? No, he will not. So Millen is going to have the advantage going into turn 1. The question is, though, can he use that for the rest of the race? He's struggled to be able to do that so far this season in comparison to his teammate, to his rival, as it were. Back end sliding for Korkumalakis. Did he get in the Audi's way, I wonder? That could be something that's going to be looked at a little bit later. Why is Korkumalakis just standing there? What are you doing, mate? I don't fully understand what you're trying there. Is he trying to disqualify himself? Or something? I'm not fully sure. We'll go to M. Doliantis, who's just come into the pit lane. Could there have been an obstruction for this man? Could he have gone a little higher, I wonder, given what happened? I'm not fully sure. That could be very, very interesting, though. So we've got 1 minute 20. We'll jump back to Korkumalakis, because what is he trying to do? What is he actually trying to do? Because qualifying is done. Those tyres aren't going to be realistically used anymore, because they've been used for qualifying. Does he think there's still time to go again? There isn't. I'm not sure what's going on, if I'm honest. We'll see. These guys are saying anything else. Stay on board with the Greekman. As he's coming into the pit lane now as well. I think he's just trying to waste as much time as possible, which that sort of stinks. With all due respect, I will be honest. I'm not fully sure why you'd do that. It's just a waste of time, not just for yourself, but for everybody else who is in the lobby. That's not cool, man. That is not cool at all. Oh man. Just watching as he goes into the garage. Korkumalakis, the reason that we did have that long delay after qualifying, 6th place starting position for the Garuda man, but qualifying results are on your screen now. Milan HB, so with Face, as usual, outdoing his car, the only other man to be under the 110. There's quite a few other cars in that 110 barrier. You'd have to look below 11th if you want to see the 111s. Worth possibly looking at some of the tech levels, because the tech level limit is 475. Not fully sure why Stelio's on a 586. And I'd imagine same goes for Darren, because he's on a 561. But anyway, we'll look at those later. Half distance race at Zandvoort coming up. Don't go anywhere. Possibility of rain is pretty high from what I have been hearing and looking at the weather forecasts, as it were. So it's definitely worth bearing in mind, because again, Zandvoort in the wet is pretty interesting. There's a lot of places that you can very easily make any kind of mistakes. We can go through the championship standings. I've got to keep an eye on the screen, because there is no formation lap usually. So let's look at pro standings. It is HB with a dominant lead, 48 points ahead of Millen in second place, and then another 46 ahead of Matt Coper, the third place and highest reserve, but he's not racing tonight. 5 lights on ahead of the drivers. And we are go here in Zandvoort. It's a good start there for HBE. He's going to have the lead going into turn 1. So with Face trying to make a move, there's 3 wide. Further back involving a paddock car, and I think that's the other Lotus. There's contact from the front wing there for Mike Wallace as they head through turn 2 into turn 3. We're looking side by side. Further back here, that is Luigi's fed into the gravel. I'm not saying to the grass, but that's not the grass. That is the gravel. A little bit of contact there for the Garudas, as so with Face is getting passed by Millen. That's a battle for second place. Stelio passed Profile as well, so that is for 7th, 8th and 9th, this little cluster as it were. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happened there. Unfortunate there for Luigi. Darren passed Mike Wallace. Expect to see Darren moving up the field. Darren's a very good racer in that athletic especially. It's worth bearing in mind. Through turn 10 into turn 11 they go. Right-hander, speedy right-hander strangely enough, but then you're braking for this tight long left at the end of that chicane. Let's jump to third and fourth. So Face Anson plays. That steering wheel moving about like a madman. Here comes some plays for the podium. This passed Sir with Face into third place, and then first and second are battling side by side. This is a battle we've seen pretty much all season. HBE and Millen contact there heading into turn 3. Slightly wide is HBE, but that's no matter. Cuts back to the corner and keeps the lead at the end of that battle. Opportunity into turn 6. Side by side through here is difficult. HBE forced wide, but still has the position. Great defending from that Apex car. I think we might be seeing some defensive masterclass from HBE, which is, again, unusual considering he does jet off quite far into the lead normally. And then we've got this sort of cluster, I want to say, for third, with some plays so with Face and Corkin Malakis, third, fourth, fifth. Twist to go isn't far off this. Remember, DRS isn't activated until next lap. DRS, of course, the rear flap. That is opened up. Luigi's Fen getting past Mute Mirror as well, so you're just picking off a couple of the guys that usually, I don't want to say lounge at the back, but they're used to being towards the back end of the field. On board with Corkin Malakis down into turn 1. Can you make a move on So with Face? No, So with Face goes deep, anticipating a move, so loses quite a bit of time and loses the space within DRS. Goes deep into turn 2 as well. Unusual line over the top of that hill as through turn 3. And then 4, 5, and then could we see a move into the right-hander at 7? That is a brave move. We saw Millen try it with HBE, but no room at the in for Kokimalakis. Pardon me. Well, at 3 of 36, we've had a pretty eventful start of the race so far. It's Millen, HBE, Easton plays 1, 2, 3, and then it's Stowe, Face, and Kokimalakis 4 and 5. We're looking at the battle also for 6th and 7th. Stelio is sort of the back of the field. Whether he still has that car, I don't know. James Petty making a move on profile. Nicely done there by the Porsche. Sorry, the Apex. Porsche's riding the curves. Millen goes faster than HBE, and HBE is getting passed by Millen into turn 1. Opportunity for a move there, but then again the outside line proves very good for a defence around turn 1. Into turn 3, banking. Can Millen work the curves? He's got a good exit there. He could go for a move into turn 7. Once again, Kokimalakis dropping down the field. Yellows in the first sector. Could be his mistake as these guys are going side by side into turn 7. Once again, the outside line is working brilliantly for HBE. Whatever tyres he's got, well, he's on the soft, so that probably explains it. But Millen, not into there. Surely not. That is a brave, brave move. You've got tyres on screen as well. Softs, mediums, hards, a whole range, whole host of tyres being selected. No clear sort of strategic decisions made by any of the drivers. Most on the softer compounds, though. There's only a couple of hard runners. We'll see what happens come the back end of this race, see which strategy works out to be the better option. On board with Kokimalakis, was 4th at one point, but then dropped to 9th place. As again, we'll jump back to the lead as they're going side by side through turn 1. Millen finally makes the move into that first corner, through turn 2, then into turn 3. Sparks flying from the back of the Lotus. This is a tighter battle than I imagine HB was expecting. He's probably not used to battling for the lead. I don't think we've really seen a proper fight for the lead since probably Bahrain, the round 1. Because beyond that, it's been mostly HB just taking it and running with it. Which is, it's always a pleasant change when we see something different. I know it's the same two people battling, but it's still a brilliant battle nonetheless. Moves made at various different points, even a couple of moves which I wouldn't have even considered. Battle of the back here, side by side. Mute Mirror trying to go down the inside, but the hard tyres for Sambo are somehow still proving to be the better choice. Sambo's got a great drive out of turn 10, and then we've got another swap for the lead. HBE getting back past Millen using the DRS down that front stretch. Longest DRS zone on this circuit into turn 2. Knows the tail these are, and we might stay on with these guys because this is going to be a brilliant battle, I imagine. It's going to be very tight. So we've got opportunity through here, through 5, through 6, into 7. Millen's tried it multiple times, lifts off the gas, thinks better of it, but that is a brave decision. He's tried to move a couple of times into there, even into here, the turn 8, which is possibly one of the faster corners on this circuit, especially given the fact that it's, you know, just one short apex. But anyway, still looking on with Millen. Can he make a move into 11? Difficult to do, but very much doable. Thinks about it. Again, thinks better of it. Stays in second place. We'll jump down to this battle for 6th place. James Petty, the leader's teammate, is currently leading this little pack ahead of Profile, Kokimalakis and Stelios. Millen retakes the lead going down the front stretch, heading into turn 1. DRS, I'm sure, working an absolute treat. On board with the Porsche in 7th place, handled currently by Profile. And to make a move into turn 1. DRS proving to be effective, but not effective enough for this man. Gap between the lead is, well, it was 4.5 tenths. It's now dropped down to just under, well, just about a quarter of a second, 3/10 of a second. So So Millen is still keeping pace as they head over the middle end of this circuit. On board Corky Malakis moving into turn 7 is, again, theoretically possible, realistically unlikely. Difficult to pull off a move into there through turn 8 into the right-hander at 9. No move there. Let's drop back to 10th, 11th and even 12th. Plumby going on the grass on board with Darren as they head through turn 10. Mistake there for Plumby, so he's not going to be able to overtake the Lotus of Not Cry. But here comes Darren down the inside of turn 11. Thinks about it, but relieves the throttle and thinks better of it. It's very difficult to pull off a move into there. Possible, yes. Difficult, also yes. One of the faster corners on this circuit. Somebody had an early ready up, so I don't think all the drivers are quite prepared. But here comes Darren making one move. Can he make two moves on Not Cry as well, as they're going 3 wide into turn 1? It's a move for Plumby as well. He's picking up both cars. He's in 10th place. Contact there with the cars. As can Plumby get past? Yes, he can. He can officially get past. That is Corky Malakis and Profile. Not the race that Corky Malakis would have wanted. Garuda not happy, especially given that, again, there could possibly be some changes afoot within that organisation with this limited edition livery. 10-second gap between third and second, so that little podium battle is pretty safely set as well. First and second are considerably further away, too far away I imagine for HB to make a move under DRS, but we'll take a look and see if it's possible. He's closing, but I don't think he's closing at a rate enough. It's a little too far away. By a little I mean half a second too far away. Side by side there, get Darren and Plumby getting very up close and personal. Let's go on board with Luigi's Fed. Great exit out of turn 13. They're going to go side by side through the banking. Not often happens because of the DRS. That shows up very early on this circuit. Can Luigi make a move? Yes. Can Plumby make a move? Considers it. Can't make it stick. Luigi down the inside. And he's going to be still side by side on exit, but the inside of turn 2 is the better line, but still a defense from Not Cry. And then Doliantis is going to force himself into there. Can't quite get his front wing, but a great defense from Not Cry in the Lotus. Well done to, I think, what is a debutante for, at least for Lotus. That's a brilliant move there by Not Cry, defending around the outside of 2. Good stuff there for the newbie. Stelio dropping down. Spin on the exit of turn 9. Easily done. Well, easily done. I've done it myself quite a few times, let's be honest. As these guys are heading down the front, down the back stretch, move for 10th and 9th place. Not Cry defending very hard. A poor exit out of turn 12 though, as they're side by side for the back as well. Corkum Lax and Doliantis, they're going side by side, 2 abreast into turn 13. No room at the end there for Doliantis. He's had to give up that position, and I imagine he's going to give up this one as well. Here comes Thunder Speed. The Audis are swapping positions down into turn 1. A change for 10th place as well, as there goes, that's Plumby who's made a mistake. He's dropping down further down the field. The Audis are still side by side, and there's Thunder Speed has dropped to 12th place. Luigi Sven also made the pass on Thunder Speed, as these guys are still side by side, but I imagine the teammates are going to stop fighting at least for a little bit. Stelio, first man, one of the first men at least, into the pit lane. A lot of very good, very clean racing. We love to absolutely see it here at International Paddock here at FSC's lap 11 of 36. It is still Millen, HBE and St. Pelagia 1, 2 and 3. We're looking on with this leading pair. They've sort of been on and off battling for near enough all of this race, which has provided quite a lot of very entertaining moves, especially through this long right-hander coming up turn 7. Drop a gear and you're clear. Nicely handled so far by these pairs. It's not the first time we've seen these guys fighting for the lead. It's the first time in quite a few races that has happened. Battle side by side, turn 1. Luigi Sven down the inside, making a move on to Saint Not Cry. Again, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that right, but I don't expect to have. Ooh, that is Profile trying to make a move further back. Can't make that stick. Almost made contact through the banking. That would have been very, very dangerous if that had gone through. Possibly safety car worthy. So with Faces has picked off St. Play. So that is again a change for the podium. So there's this little pack gathering for the podium battle. Worth mentioning, they are 15 seconds off the lead. Down TG1 has dropped even more positions. Is currently on board with St. Plays. Can he make the retaliatory move on So with Face? Yes, he can. Inside into turn 1. Doesn't really even need the braking zone. So with Face tries to hang around the outside. Cannot make it stick. Will go on board with the Athletic. As into turn 2. Turn 3, again a popular overtaking move. Goes deep, tries to get a good exit. Back end sliding. Oof. Almost lost the car, and that is the move done, at least for a little while there. Luigi Sven making, well, his car looks to be on absolute train tracks at the moment. Pre-planted, making moves consistently, gone from the back of the field, or near the back of the field, and is now in 7th place. Goodness me, pardon me. So this battle for 7th has actually loosened up a little bit. St. Not Cry has split off from the two Garudas, 7th and 8th place. Yellow's in the first sector. I imagine, is that possibly Mute Mirror? That could possibly be Mute Mirror. There he goes again. Loses the car through turn 2. Doesn't really make much contact with the wall. But I think he might have to change his front wing anyway. Will he? He might have got away with that, to be fair. I think he might be alright. But that is, ladies and gents, the first car lapped of this event so far. Lapped only by the leaders in 1st and 2nd place. Lap 13 of 36. We're just past a 3rd distance. Down go the Audis. So if they made a little bit of a mistake, yes, they have. There goes Thunder Speeder. He's lost quite a lot of time to his teammate. So could there have been some rubbing and banging? There probably was, but that has split up that pack in the midfield. Whatever happened. Plumby in the pits for, I think, not the first time this evening. Oh, it is the first time this evening. Pitting for Hards. Could Hards last the rest of the race, I wonder? No safety cars have been pulled as yet, so we're not really expecting too much safety car intervention. But again, who really knows what's going to happen come the end of this race? The leaders currently half a second apart from each other. St. Plays down the inside of So with Face trying to defend around the outside of turn 3. They're still side by side on exit through this slalom toboggan run section. And then into turn 7. Can they still stay side by side? Yes, they can. But the inside line for So with Face is proving to be too good for St. Plays as they emerge out of turn 8 in 4th and 3rd for 4th for St. Plays and 3rd for Sir with Face. Thunder Speed has come into the pit lane, so whatever damage he picked up from his incident with, I assume, his teammate, caused some form of repairable damage. Lap 15 of 36, Mill and HB, and So with Face 1, 2, and 3. If you are on Twitch and you happen to have just watched that ad break, and you don't really like ads, and you possibly don't want to watch the ads anymore, let us know by subscribing. Here we go, side by side. I'll let you know how you can do that in a second. That was a great move by So with Face on the inside of turn 1. How can you avoid the ads? Well, all you need to do is, if you've got Amazon Prime, link your account with Twitch and you get Twitch Prime. You get a free subscription on them and you can just dodge the ads on this channel, right? Alternatively, you can pay for the monthly subscription as well. So there is quite a few options for yourself if you don't particularly like the ads. But let's get back to actual racing content, because that's what you're here for, after all. First and second on board HBE move for the lead. Here we go. Miller goes to the right-hand side to try and defend. But then again, HBE's tyres are heavily worn softs. Look at the canvas there. Briefly, or was that possibly just gravel dust? Not ideal for HB. Is he expecting a safety car? It's not quite too wise to play that card, as St. Plays has got the move done well. Even before the exit of that final corner for the run into turn 1, he's got a pretty hefty gap there. Question is, when does HBE pit? Does HBE pit now, or is he again just waiting on a safety car come the end of this race? Stelio making moves. He just got past both the IP cars within a matter of, well, minutes, and he's going to be chasing after Kokumalakis, 2.2 seconds up the road on brand new hard tyres. We're looking on with M. Doliantis in the pit lane. Not first of the two Audis, and he's gone onto the medium tyre, so you can run mediums 20 or so laps here at Zandvoort. And Mike Wallace has come into the pit lane as well. So he's going to be strapping on a set of medium tyres. Again, we assume until the end of the race, but then again, for the guys that started on mediums, how long will they last? Do you put hards? Do you put softs? What do you do? I'm not particularly a racer, so I'm going to reserve judgment on... I'm not going to reserve judgment on the strategy. However, and there is still quite a lot of options. Plus also, it's not necessarily a long circuit, so the tyre wear per lap, on average, isn't necessarily going to be as large as, say, Silverstone, where you've got a considerably lower amount of laps. And if you pit one lap too late, the difference could be much more major. Millen thinks of pitting, tries to tease HBE into doing that exact thing. Down the inside, considers HBE, but then again, he just lifts off and tries to conserve his car and his tyres. Into turn 2 and the left-hander at 3, one of 2 corners with banking. The slightly less banked one there, the final corner, of course. And now that is a damning statement if I've ever seen one. That is his teammate. Profile getting lapping Mute Mirror. That is, again, unfortunate for Mute Mirror. Twisted Goat. He's putting on a brand new set of hard tyres. He's going to be running those until the end. Did he start on the medium tyre? Yes, he did. You could theoretically run softs till the end now. HB has done exactly that. So it is theoretically at least possible to run the softs. But of course you don't want to run them into the ground. So you've got to be careful on how you do indeed use them. Darren TG1, 10th place. In this event, top 14 get points. So he's quite firmly in points-paying positions. Darren, I think, slightly blocked off by Stelio ahead of him. Yells in the second sector. I imagine that's for traffic, letting Luigi Sven by. Or even Kokumalakis as well, because Kokumalakis isn't actually too far away from this battle side by side into turn 11. Not often we see a move into that corner, but Darren's made that work down the inside. Stelio seems to be struggling with his car. I think that's AI there. That's not good. That is not very, very good. The gap between second and first has now substantially increased, and because of that, HB is now coming into the pit lane. We'll stay on board as he comes through this pit lane, one of the slower pit lanes in the game. Strapping on a set of mediums till the end of the race, as is expected. He can't use the soft, so he has to use DAS mediums. Nicely handled there for the pit exit. He's only 21 seconds now behind his, I don't want to say rival, but his enemy in this race. First track limits penalty only on lap 20. Now that is a surprise for Mute Mirror. I'm surprised it's taking that long. There's quite a few corners where you can very easily fall foul of track limits. I'm thinking turn 3, through the kinks. Turn 7, that sort of kink between 7 and 8. Turn 9, turn 10, the chicane at 11 and 12, turn 13 as well. There's plenty of opportunity where you can screw up. Millen going for yet another lap, so he's going to be hoping for a very good undercut to try and keep him in play. Tyres do seem to be relatively difficult to warm up, all things considered. Steliosil in 11th place, right in the back of St. Not Cry. As they head over the top of the hill. Yells in the first sector again, probably traffic. We've not really seen a major incident, considering I should also mention, yes, it's an FSC attendance record. This is the most these guys have had in a singular race, which is brilliant to see. But regardless, it's still very good. Actually, looking at pit stops for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 6. The only man who has got that pit stop done is a HBE. Twisted Goat making a move on Luigi Sven. Mercedes versus Garuda. Garuda again, rumours that there could be something happening. Who really knows what exactly, but something could be happening in the not too distant future. About 22 of 36, 15 to go. Well, yeah, well, they've just started 15 to go. HBE new fastest 1:11.150. As we're looking and staying on board with our leader at the moment of this race, Milan. As Doliantis has retired from the session. Is that a pit lane retirement? Probably. Looks to be. But we'll confirm it once we... I think it is a pit lane retirement. Just because Mike's just crossed the start-finish line and he has just passed M. Doliantis. So I do think, yes, that was a pit lane retirement. So our first retiree of this race so far. Mute Mirror has retired from the session as well, but that is now a safety car. Ooh, now this is going to be juicy. Where are some of these guys? Millen is, well, that couldn't have really been much better time for Milan, because he is now going to inherit the lead, or keep the lead, and I reckon there's probably going to be some sort of what's it called? Disqualified from session. Stelio for blocking the pit lane. Now that is an unusual one. Mike Wallace has got 2 drive-through penalties for speeding under safety car. I'm not sure if that is intentional, accidental, or whatever else. But that's an unusual scenario, if I'm honest. But anyway, lap 23 of 36. First safety car of the race so far. I know, I'm surprised it's taken that long as well. HB's come into the pit lane. Yeah, he's come to the pit lane, changed off the mediums, come onto the softs. So he's going to be running softs till the end. He's ran softs for pretty much the entire race. HB letting lapped traffic by. Last time we had a safety car that could have any form of lapped traffic was probably Jeddah, now that I think about it. And then obviously back then there was a massive problem with the actual procedure, but since then these guys have worked on it and they have got better. So we'll see what happens should we be able to see that. 3 retirements, 1 sort of forced. Blocking the pit lanes is an unusual penalty because most drivers do have the car under game control. Pardon me. Good grief. But again, it's an unusual penalty just to see in general, as lap traffic is being let past. So face there, Twisted Goats come into the pit lane. Are these guys going to catch up to the safety car? Because the safety car is coming through turn... Where is the safety car? Coming into turn 8. And HB is 17.5 seconds off it, still. That's pretty, what's the word? Unusual. I'll be honest. I'm kind of hoping that the game extends the safety car. But again, we're talking about for the EA here. I don't expect them to have actually coded something good. With all due respect, of course. But that's unfortunately how that goes. Mike Wallace being allowed, well, sort of allowed past, but also sort of not allowed past. The outside line probably would have been a better move there for Mike, but seems to be pretty heavily committed to that line through the final corner even. So they have caught up now, at least a few cars have caught up. Is that contact with the wall? Possibly. These guys have got to be careful with letting lapped cars go. I think we're all clear for the time being. That's like that, and that's going to be like that. Okay, we might actually get some sort of normality come the restart. I wouldn't expect very much, but I could actually see something good happen of this. This is a relatively new procedure. As oh, Sandbox has a drive-through penalty for falling too far back. That's the first time I've seen that one. I'll be honest. And for a drive-through for that as well, it's quite unusual. But safety car is now in this lap. These guys are going to slow down just as they normally do. Safety car is still out, or isn't it? Or is it, or isn't it? Or is it, or isn't it? The game's saying one thing and then doing another. I'm honestly not fully sure. But we're going to go on board with HBE. Safety car's coming around the final corner now. Darren and St. Not Cry are very close to the point where they're pretty much swapping positions. The IP cars are catching up, but there's going to be a couple of drive-throughs to be served. Safety car is now in the pit lane, so we're on board with HBE. When does Millen go? Early? Late? We'll see what happens. Starting 11 to go. And there goes Millen, leaving it quite late, catching HBE out there, I think. Some plays is right on the back of this as well, so we're going to go green, 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 11 to go. And into turn 1, and that is Sam retired from the session. I imagine probably too many penalties? Or did he just have a bit of a mishap? I wonder. Well, he's stranded himself out on track there. So, could I invite him to a party? I wonder. I'm going to try. Let me also turn party audio on, if Sam wants in, of course. But we're looking at this battle for the leads and also for third place. As so with Face and some plays have been battling. They've been battling for pretty much the entirety of this race. And also, actually, now that I realise, worth mentioning, top 14 get points, and we've only got 14 drivers, so if you finish, you get points. Simple as. 10 to go. Millen 109.3, but here's a move for the lead. Robinson plays, not for the lead, for third place. They're going to go side by side. The outside line has proven to be very good for some, but not for all. And so with Faith, pretty much forces some plays off the track. Nicely handled by the Pagani. And managing that very, very nicely. 10 to go here at Zandvoort. And really halfway through the season as well, we've got 6 more races, 2 more sprint weekends, and it's going to be an absolute cracker of a season finish. Into turn 9, and then through the left at turn 10. James Petty and Corky Malakis trade positions for 7th and 8th place. Again, you'd expect, given HBE's performances so far this season, that this man, who is very good, he did very well sort of mid-season last year in that Porsche. You know, it's very much a shame. But anyway, this game can actually do one. Well, Sam, if you want to chat about it, feel free to accept the invite I just sent you. Corky Malakis gets right back past James Petty. I think DRS is now enabled as well. There's all back-end sliding. Very common through that right-hander. Nicely handled still by James Petty. Let's jump to 3rd and 4th place though, with facing some plays. As they head through turn 4. Not turn 4. Turn 8. Double that. 9, and then the left at 10. There's not very much left, but you can still make quite a lot of moves. Mike, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, on top of all the other penalties that he has picked up so far in this race. He's got 8 seconds, and Twisted Goat has got 5 again, on top of the 2 drive-through penalties that he picked up during that safety car. But out front, the battle for the lead is not really a battle for the lead because of the gap that has been formed. It's now 2.1 seconds, so Millen clearly has a lot of pace, and he's been kind of hiding it on those medium tyres. There's not really much that HB can do, at least at this moment in time, which is quite unfortunate for Apex again. Just generally speaking, if they want to do a clean sweep of the season, then again they'd have needed to win this one, but they haven't. So in terms of, you know, historic record book, sort of like a monumental, oh, we won everything kind of season, yeah, that's not really gonna happen. But Anyway, let's jump to 4th, 5th and 6th. So the Fates has drawn the gap away. So we're going to look at this battle. Luigi Sven with St. Blaise and Twisted Goat. Mike Wallace again getting in the middle of that. Well, kind of in the middle of that. He is lapped, but still. He is in the middle of it. To the left goes Luigi Sven, making a move around the outside. We've seen the outside work again for some, but not for all. And they're still going to be side by side through the kink into turn 2. And then the inside still works for St. Blaise. The inside through 2 is a very good defensive line. And yet they're still side by side on exit. Front wing forced in there by Luigi Sven. Inside there, contact. Ooh, he's going to give that position up. And he might have even given one more up as well if it weren't for that contact. He might have been forced to give the position back to Twisted Goat. I know that he was giving some plays back the advantage because of the contact, but still, that could have been a lot more worse than what actually transpired. Through 11 and 12, tight as you like, back end sliding for Twisted Goat, quite unsettled again. Everybody's on relatively new tyres, other than Mike Wallace, who's basically going full speed under safety car. Luigi Sven and St. Blaise side by side. St. Blaise and Twisted Goat side by side. Could we get Twisted Goat and Luigi Sven as well? Complete the trifecta. No, we can't, but they're side by side behind St. Blaise, trying to force his way in as well. Ooh, that is very, very tight. Twisted Goat tries to make the move to defend against St. Blaise, but St. Blaise's attacks are very meticulous and calculated. We're on board with the Mercedes in currently 6th place. That's nicely handled into turn 8 again. Ooh. We've seen one or two moves again considered, but not actually pulled off. Into the left-hander at 10. There's only 5 more runs after this, as Plumby's got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So again, not many penalties being dished out for track limits, but they are still being dished out, and they could make the world of difference. Twisted Goat has got 5 seconds, so this could drop him down 1, 2, even 3 positions come the end of this race, as they head down the front stretch into turn 1. We are now on 5 to go here tonight. And remember, again, this is halfway in Holland. We've only got 6 more races to go for season 7, and then we're just waiting for F1 24 to come out, which is, of course, was announced a couple of weeks ago to be the end of May as the date where it's going to be released to the public, which is considerably earlier than most other F1 games, trying to bring it a little bit more in sync with the actual championship coming out earlier in the year. A drive through for falling 2 back when cars are letting me go through to unlap myself, and then giving a countdown which doesn't disappear, and was about to give another. Ah, Christ. Well, Sam, we both know this. It's EA. With all due respect, what did you expect? Probably not much, and yet they still went below your expectations, which is very EA proof. Lap 33 of 36 into turn 1 for the 33rd time in this race. That's sort of been the main overtaking spot in this event. We'll see what happens. Oof, I thought Twisted Goat was going to go for it into that banked corner. As Thunder Speed is also trying to get past FG Profile. Great step in for Porsche. Quite happy, I would imagine, the Porsche team principal and the team management, as they head through the slalom toboggan section into the long right at 7. Going a little bit wide does Profile, but still carries the pace, carries the speed, and carries the position. So he's still there in 10th place. Looking on for back again. Battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. It's Garuda, Pagani and Mercedes. As it is now 3 to go. We've only got about 5 minutes left in this race. We hope you're enjoying the race. As always, there's more racing content that he's going to be provided here on International Paddock, as these guys are going to try and make a move into turn 1. Thinks about it. There's Chris and Goat. Contact there. Little bit of a half spin for the Pagani, but manages to keep it on track. Loses distance to Luigi Sven, so that might be his 4th place charge over, but a great save nonetheless. He's going to be quite happy with that. Well, once he gets past the rage of, why the hell did he tap me? What did I do? But you got to also be careful. Careful for Korku Malakis. We've seen Korku Malakis go up, down, sort of the field just generally. So he can make moves. We have seen that so far in this race. So it would not surprise me if he made a few more to try and claw his position up further in the field. And actually, Twisted Goat's penalties, he would only lose 1 position. He's got 5 seconds. I think, for a speeding in the pit lane penalty. So, you know, he would only lose just the 1 position, which is only a couple of points in the grand scheme of things. But again, as we all know, more points is better points. Because championships can be decided by just the 1 point, as we had a couple of years ago in actual real life. Battle for the lead. Well, it's not really a battle anymore. Miller's just steamed ahead. HBE settles for 2nd. And so with Face on the podium, Thunderspeed is getting past FG Profile down into turn 1. That is a move for 10th place for the Audi. The other Audi is not in this race anymore. Deliantis in 16th place. Well, we've not got quite too long left in this race, but it's going to be a thrilling end to this event, I'm sure. Be sure not to go anywhere. Through turn 10, the left-hander. Then back and sliding opportunity for Korku Malakis to try and make a move. Thinks about it, but again, this sort of back straight isn't really that long. You haven't got the opportunity to make a move like you do, say, on the back straight or into turn 7. It's not quite as long of a full throttle section as you want, or even some would say need it to make that move. We're staying on with this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th on board with Korku Malakis. Got the battle for some plays and Twisted Goat. Then can Korku Malakis force himself into there? No, he can't. He has to settle for 7th moment, but he will be 6th once Twisted Goat's penalty is factored in. Through turn 3 for the last time these guys go. Miller's just come through turn 10. We'll jump to him in a second. Then he moves into turn 7, a little too far away. But after a brilliant battle for the lead, safety car gave him the opportunity that he needed, and he's ran away on that soft tyre. Kept up to pace on mediums, and then just the soft tyre did what it needed to do. Around the final banked corner, he's won the halfway stage. He's going to have the momentum into this final half of the season. Millen wins a race. Finally this season, some would say he's been very close on multiple occasions, but he wins here. FSC in Holland, HBE. A brilliant race from him, but he can't do better than 2nd place. And Sir with Face, a valiant 3rd spot even on the rostrum. A good start and a good finish even for Sir with Face. Twisted Goat drops to 7th place once his penalty is factored in. And then here comes Darren, Profile and Thunderspeeder, and then we've just got 3 more cars to come through. Sudden Not Cry, Plumby, and then Mike Wallace. Pretty entertaining race so far. Well, overall, a pretty entertaining race. Yells in the final sector, around the final couple of corners. We've just got these guys coming through. I think Plumby's just trying to be nice and giving the lap back to Mike Wallace. Partly that, and also probably partly just the jokes. Because why not? Plumby 13th place. Driver of the day, what are you saying? Darren? No, I'm going to say Millen. clawed away that gap at the end and had a brilliant battle through that first stint. So a thoroughly deserved driver of the day there for Milan. But that is it here from International Paddock. Sunday night, we have the ERC Masters race. That is going to be at Canada, which if last night's anything to go by, believe me, this could be a very good and very entertaining race. Simtek are back on Thursday. They're going to be racing at Bahrain, and also Chin Chin. There could be something else coming a little earlier in the week. Be prepared for that. We will be back next week. Unfortunately, not with me. You will be with Angelo as you're racing at Le Castellet. And I will be back in 2 weeks' time at Silverstone because I'm going on holiday. But in the meantime, that is everything from us here at International Paddock. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow whatever other social media you're watching this on. And stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.